The Pumpkin Thief. In a sunny green corner of Sri Lanka, there was a small peaceful village called Kiriwatha. Coconut trees swayed in the wind, hens clucked in the dust, and every morning the smell of rice and tea drifted from the houses. Among the villagers lived an old farmer named Apahami, who loved his garden more than anything else in the world. Every day, Apahami would wake before sunrise, wash his face at the well, and walk to his little garden patch behind the house. There, under a bamboo fence, grew his proudest treasure, a big, round, golden pumpkin. He talked to it kindly while watering the vines. "My little pumpkin," he'd say, "you'll grow strong and bright, and we'll show you at the harvest festival." And day by day the pumpkin grew, rounder, shinier, and happier under the warm morning sun. Weeks passed. Children passing by would stop and stare. They whispered, "It's the biggest pumpkin in the whole village." Apuhami smiled, his heart full of joy. He dreamed of cooking sweet pumpkin curry for everyone when harvest time came. But one morning, something strange happened. The rooster crowed, the sun rose, and Apuhami went to his garden as usual. He looked and stopped. His mouth fell open. The pumpkin was gone. Only a few broken vines and muddy footprints were left behind. "Oh no!" cried Apuhami. "My pumpkin! My beautiful pumpkin is missing!" Soon the news spread like wind. Villagers came running, old women, little boys, even the postman. Everyone gasped. Who would steal from kind Apuhami? They wondered. Little Podimenica, a clever girl from next door, looked at the ground carefully. She pointed to the muddy footprints and said, "Let's watch tonight. Maybe the thief will come again." That night, the moon hung high and silver over Kiriwatha. The village was quiet, only crickets sang, and an owl hooted in the mango tree. Apahami and Podimenica hid behind the fence with a tiny lantern that glowed softly in the dark. They waited. Minutes turned into hours. Then, just as the clock in the temple struck 10, they saw something move between the vines. A dark, sneaky shadow crept closer, step by step, slower and slower. It was Kawadia, the lazy man from the next lane. Everyone in the village knew him. He never worked, but always wanted the best food. Kawudaya tiptoed into the garden, looking left and right. He chuckled quietly to himself. Hee, tonight I'll have a sweet pumpkin dinner." He bent down and tried to pull another pumpkin from the vine, but it was heavy. Oh, so heavy. He huffed and puffed, tugging hard until pop! The pumpkin came loose. He tied it to his waist with a rope and started to sneak away. But just then, his foot slipped on the wet mud. He rolled down the little slope, the pumpkin bumping after him. With a great splash, he landed right in the muddy canal. The pumpkin floated like a golden boat, while Kawadia sat in the water, blinking and covered in brown goo. Apahami and Podimenica couldn't hold it anymore. They burst out laughing. Hearing the noise, villagers came running with lanterns. When they saw Kawadaya sitting in the canal, everyone laughed until tears rolled down their cheeks. But Apahami didn't get angry. He walked up, reached out his hand, and helped the poor man out of the mud. "Kawadia," he said kindly, "you don't need to steal. If you plant your own seeds, you'll have your own pumpkins, and your heart will feel light." Kawadia hung his head in shame. He said softly, "I'm sorry, Apahami. I was hungry and jealous. Please forgive me." Apahami smiled. "Of course I forgive you. Come tomorrow. I'll show you how to grow your own." So the next morning, Apahami gave him a handful of pumpkin seeds. Together they planted them in the soft brown soil. They watered the little sprouts every day. Podimenica helped too, singing cheerful songs while carrying water pots. Days turned into weeks. The vines stretched long, green and healthy, and soon little baby pumpkins peeked out from under the leaves. When harvest time came again, Kawudaya's garden was full of bright orange pumpkins. He proudly shared them with everyone in the village. At the festival, he cooked a big pot of sweet pumpkin curry and offered the first bowl to Apuhami. Apuhami smiled and said, "See, honest work makes the food taste better." That evening, the whole village of Kiriwatha gathered under the stars. Children laughed, drums played, and the air smelled of roasted corn and fresh pumpkin sweets. Apuhami looked at the moon and whispered, "Kindness always grows the biggest harvest." And from that day on, no one in Kiriwatha ever tried to steal again. So kiddos, how is the story? What did you learn from the story? Comment down below. So if you learned something useful, please subscribe and like the video. Bye. See you soon in the next story from our magic story jar.